All right, so we are going to wrap up text in this lesson. Two more properties I want to look at for this lesson because we looked at text align and text transform in the previous lesson. So this lesson we are going to look at text decoration and text shadow. Okay, so let's start with text decoration. Okay, text decoration allows us to somewhat kind of style the text. What I use it for in particular, what you'll probably use it more than anything else, is when it comes to our links. Okay, um, so in the text decoration properties, there's text decoration none, underline, overline, overline, underline, and then we can make it dotted, dashed, wavy, and stuff like that. So we can decorate the text like so. But what I use it for predominantly is when it comes to my anchor tags, because when it comes to links, I hate this underline that's sitting underneath those. I despise them, and if you're like me, then you probably despise them as well. So um, let's look at the text decoration property. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here to nav link. We already have that targeted. We use text transform uppercase on it. I'm going to right here. I'm going to use text decoration. Okay, and I can simply say none, and you see that removes the underline underneath those. Because again, I'm not a big fan of those. But let's explore the text decoration property a little more. I'm just gonna come over here to our H1. I seem to be doing everything in H1, but I'm gonna change that up a little bit. Let's say text decoration. Okay. And we can use underline, and we see that it underlines the text like so. Maybe there's something important that you want to have underlined. Um, must be turned in by this date. Uh, Under 18, not allowed, or whatever. I don't know. You can use that. There's also again overline. In the overline properties, you can see it puts the line above the text. As I stated, you can do overline, underline, and do something cool like that. Let's stick with this underline. Okay. We can change the way that the underline looks. We can do dashed, like so. And it'll create a dash line. We could do dotted, and that'll create a dotted line. We can also do wavy, and see that makes that hideous wave line. But we can do more with this. We can also change the color of the underline or overline like we have here. So all this can be done with text decoration. So we can, say specify whether we want to underline or not. We could do overline. We can say what that line looks like. We could do wavy. We could do dashed. We could do dotted. If you don't put anything there, it's just going to do just that standard underline. And we can also change the color. So all this can be done with text decoration. Again, it's just decorating the text. I mostly use it for getting rid of the underline when it comes to the links, in which case you would say text decoration none, and that will take care of that. Okay, so that's the text decoration property. And always pause the video, play with it, come back to it, because I know I move kind of fast, but that's also why I, chop these lessons up into, digestible 8, 9, 10 minute increments, whatever. Plus, I'm not the person that likes to sit there and just talk like that. Not a big fan of it. So, yeah, that's why I do these lessons so quickly. But again, as always, if you need to pause it, shut me up, play with the code some, and then come back and listen to me or whatever. That's your discretion. So that's text decoration. All right. So now we're going to look at text shadow. Okay. So the text shadow property is how we can create the shadow on our text. Sometimes when you are working with maybe colors that uh, the contrast is real low between them, and it makes it real difficult to see. You know, sometimes somebody may want to have like a red background and blue text. You know, that's just really not healthy. It's not good for the user. But you know, hey, who are me to judge? Some people want to do something like that. Text shadow is how we can have our text to pop out, and the other one still just makes it a nice effect depending on where you use it. Uh, but text shadow, that property is going to allow us to do that. The text shadow property is going to take a couple of values. It takes the x, we'll say the x value. I forget exactly what it's called. A y value, the blur radius, and then a color. So you have to provide those to get the best effect. You're going to provide those four things: the x value, the y value, blur radius, and color. And simply what I mean: how many far pixels horizontally do you want to go? How many pixels vertically do you want to go? How much blur do you want to cast out as it fades out? And then what color you want to select. With your x and y value, it's math. You can use negative values. So if you do x value is going positive x value is going to your blur is going to go out to the right. Negative x value is going to your blur where your shadow is going to go out to the left, rather not your blur but your shadow. Same thing with y. If you use a positive y value, then the blur, well, the shadow is going to cast downward. Negative value is going to go upward, so it's kind of inverse. But let's look at that. We're going to target these H2s. Let's say I want to do a text shadow on it. So I'm going to say text shadow. And again, our X value comes first. I'm going to say 5 pixels. And then I'm going to say, I guess, 5 pixels Y as well. Let's do 5 pixel blur radius. And let's do good old Dodger Blue 109 EFF. And there we go. We can see there is our text shadow. And again, if I wanted to say -5, then we see that the shadow moves upward. If I say a -5 on the X, then we see that the shadow goes out to the left of the text. So that's something that you can use as well. Again, like I said, if your color scheme that you're using has a low contrast between the colors, then you may want to apply a text shadow on the text to kind of make it make your text pop out just a little bit, makes it a little better to see. Sometimes, you know, depending on, you know, the browser window or the screen, whatever, your colors may kind of blend in too much. So a nice text shadow could help that out, help the user out to see your text much better. But this is cool. So play with this code, okay? And that's going to be pretty much it with text. So we've done a lot. We've done font family, font size, font style, font weight. Then we've done text align. We've done text transform, and then text decoration, and text shadow. So those are fundamentals right there. I think you'd be good with that. In the next lesson, we're going to try to put some of this, the stuff that we've learned into practice, particularly when it comes to working with or creating a navigation bar. So we'll do that next. We're doing this just the tools we learned. Going to cover like one new property, maybe 2 new properties. And then we'll go on from there. All right. So yeah, keep practicing, get better, write less terrible code. See you on the next lesson. Peace, power, and blessings.